Hi, in this video I want to show you how to use StatCrunch to do some basic analyses of data. All right, so what we have here is we have an example problem where we want to compute the median, IQR, mean, and standard deviation of these data sets, right? Data set 1 and data set 2. Now, there's a fair amount of numbers in these data sets. You could probably compute these things by hand, the standard deviation being the most tedious. But whenever you have a lot of data like this, it probably pays to use software to speed things up, especially, like I said, for the standard deviation. So let's go ahead and see how we can use StatCrunch for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this first data set. All right, so I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to push Control-C, maybe it's Option-C on a Mac to copy. You can also right-click and just choose Copy. And then you go to StatCrunch. All right, and you paste it. On my PC, it's Control-V, probably Option-V on a Mac. All right, so the data is pasted into StatCrunch. So that's my first data set, and maybe I want to name it here, data set 1, just like it was in the exercise, right? And now we'll go get the other data set, right? So I'll just drag, I'll highlight it like this, copy it, paste it using Control-C, Control-V, right? Name that data set 2. Okay, so what do we want to do? We want to compute some statistics based on this data. So what we do for that is we go to stat, all right? And the statistics that we're computing are known as summary statistics. We're summarizing the data, and the data comes from columns. So I'm going to choose columns here. And I could do one data set at a time, or I could select both of these by dragging down or using the control button and selecting them individually. You can select more than one that way. And then I'm going to skip these two options. These are for more kind of advanced things. And I'm just going to select the things that I want to know, right? So I want to know the mean. I want to know the standard deviation. I want to know the median. We were also asked to compute the IQR. Right? And then I'm going to hit compute. And you'll see that StatCrunch gives those things to me. All right. So for data set 1, that's in the first row here, we've got the mean, standard deviation, median, IQR. Data set 2, same statistics. So this is a very quick way to do this. Now, one thing that I want to point out here is that when you compute standard deviation like this in StatCrunch, this default standard deviation is the sample standard deviation. If you want the population standard deviation, you need to go to this one here. It stands for unadjusted standard deviation. This is the one that gives you the population standard deviation. So make sure you keep those things straight. That the normal standard deviation right here, standard deviation, that's the sample standard deviation. The unadjusted one is the population standard deviation.